All right, guys. Well, welcome to the Raise Rowdy podcast. I'm Nicky T.
I'm Kurt Ozan.
And we are here with Mr. Sterling Elza today.
How's it going, boys?
Bro, good. Thanks so much for coming up to Nashville. And we have you this week playing over at our Losers event as well, man.
Yep.
So you
Wednesday night.
You boys played at Live Oak for us.
Yeah.
Losers is kind of like a more traditional honky tonk kind of vibe. So
that's what I've been hearing. Yeah.
It's a fun bar. It's a historic bar in town, so we're super stoked to have y'all.
Yeah,
By the time this comes out, that'll have already happened, but we'll have to figure out when you're going to be in town next to tell people.
Yeah, always. No, well, we love coming up here.
Dude, it's great. We've had your music, I actually found out about it from your guys' managers, and I was like, how the did I not know about this already? You know? And it definitely fits in the Raise Rowdy vibe. Like, we're often covering stuff that's kind of like rock leaning in the country world.
Right.
And stuff that's honestly just rock now, too. We used to, like, kind of hide it. Stuff that was like, we're like, yeah, this is country. And now we're like, yeah, we'll cover stuff that's just straight up rock, too.
Yeah, because y'all have the Rowdy alternative, too, right?
Sam. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sam was jealous that we were having you on. So we'll have to have you maybe back on his pod, too.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. But, man, like I said, thanks for coming. And as I said, I got to see your show when you guys played at Live Oak for us. And, dude, you guys, the band was super tight. And it was awesome to see you guys, like, just blow me away, man. And coming to find out how young you are, too. It's like, it's freaking crazy.
Yeah, man. No, I got a good group of guys. I got really lucky with all those guys.
Yeah.
It makes it easier on me, too. They're bringing the energy every single night. So, you know, if I'm tired, we've been on the road for a couple days, I can hang back a little bit and know our show's still going to be, like, super exciting and fun.
Yeah.
You want to shout your band guys out, since I'm a band guy and I'd love to hear my name shouted out, you know?
Yeah. The guy that's playing rhythm for me over here in the corner, y'all can't see him, Mr. Caleb Grant from Corsicana, Texas. And then playing bass, we got Adrian Santa Cruz. He's a Houston guy.
Cool.
You've seen Adrian.
Yeah.
Absolutely wild every single night.
Yep.
And then Nathan, our lead player, he's actually producing everything for us, playing
cool.
all the guitar, mixing everything, mastering everything. So he's got his hands full right now. But, he's playing lead for us. And then every once in a while, Zach Foster, he'll come out on the road and just kind of auxiliary guitar type deal.
Yeah.
And we're kind of in between drummers right now. But the guy with us this week, his name's Hunter Lennington.
Cool.
Super cool guy.
Yeah.
I'm happy he'll be here with us this week. It'll be fun.
That's awesome. When did you guys get like really starting touring full band?
So we played our first full band show like a year ago last weekend.
Crazy.
Yeah. So things really kind of picked up fast, and I kind of had to figure out how to perform and all that sort of stuff.
How did that like all come together? So you dropped your first song that's on streaming now, at least in 2021.
Right. Yeah, and that was just me and a couple of my buddies going out to my ranch in Oklahoma, and we just sat down in my grandma's living room. We were like, well, we might as well do something while we're here, and we made that song and put it out, and some people kind of started listening to it and stuff, and I go back and hear that now, and I'm like, God, I wish y'all would stop listening to that song. But
I mean, honestly, that's what a lot of artists say, but
right.
It shows how you've developed, and you know what I mean?
Right,
like,
and that's why it's still on streaming services and stuff, because I do like to show the growth and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Plus, it's a good tribute to all those guys who were with you at that time too.
Right,
you know?
Exactly.
Which is great. So, how many dates have you guys been doing? Like, I mean, you guys have been hitting the road pretty heavy.
Yeah, for kind of the first time, we're playing like every weekend pretty much.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And we're loving it. We're having so much fun. We're still kind of in the honeymoon phase with it. So, Yeah,
you're not super tired yet.
Nope.
Kurt's a road dog, so he knows, but he's been on a bus for a long time. So,
Yeah, I loved hearing you talking about learning how to perform. I'm curious as to, like, what are some things you've picked up? What was it like when you first started versus, like, y'all's live show now?
Man, when we first started, I never talked.
Like in between songs?
Yeah, in between songs, it was just, all right, and this song is whatever. And so learning how to talk to the crowd and just getting comfortable and kind of just hanging out on stage. And I think part of that comes with the guys that I do have on stage. Just we're all just having fun. We're best friends off stage, and that makes a big difference.
Yeah, absolutely does. It's one of the things I talk about too. Like we've talked about on previous podcasts. Like you surround yourself with people that are similar to you, right? Vibe wise.
Yeah.
Right. So it's cool to be able to kind of get to build that. You know, you have guys that are probably were your friends before or you knew before, but
Yeah.
you really get to become like brothers while you're on the road.
Mm-hmm. You do.
It's cool.
Are you getting to like doing the opening slots, like opening for bigger acts, or?
Yeah, that's mostly what we're doing right
Mhm.
now. We're kind of giving ourselves the rest of the year to open shows, and we kind of want to start booking headline dates around September, October, November of this year.
Yeah.
But we've been playing a ton of shows with Cole Barnhill
Yeah, we
lately.
love Cole, too.
Dexter and the Moon Rocks.
Yeah.
Those shows are always fun.
Wow.
Those boys
Yeah.
can pull a crowd
Yeah.
anywhere.
They're crazy. Yeah, that's it's. I remember when Sam showed me their music actually. 'Cause
Yeah.
Sam is kind of like our gateway to like the rock, Texas,
fun
Oklahoma
stuff.
scene. Yeah, dude. I mean, I've loved that music for a while.
Yeah.
But he was stationed down in Oklahoma, so
Okay.
he kind of got into that world there. He found us actually when I had a podcast with Austin Meade.
Oh,
So, like,
nice.
yeah, and like he was following Austin. He wrote for a rock magazine, so that's kind of when we got Sam.
Yeah, we got a date with Austin this summer too.
Oh,
I'm
that's
super excited. That'll be our first one with him.
Yeah.
I've been a fan of him forever now.
Dude, it's so cool his stuff too because he's kind of it's all rock, but it's all over the place in the rock
Right.
world. So
Yeah.
it's kind of neat to see him, get to explore around in the genre a little bit too.
Hmm. And he's been doing it forever.
Yeah,
You know,
man.
started playing Stevie Ray Vaughan covers, just ripping.
Yep,
And seeing where he's at now, I mean, he was on tour with ZZ Top.
so crazy.
It's like the coolest thing ever.
Yeah. Who are some of the artists that you would absolutely love to tour with that are still doing it right now?
Austin is a big one,
Yeah.
for sure. But of course,
Yeah.
Treaty,
Yeah.
Cody West. We played a couple with Cody West, and hoping to get some more with him. But I grew up listening to Cody, so the first show with him, I was just like, "What the hell is going on?"
Yeah,
That's
surreal
super cool.
moment.
Yeah, for sure.
So you have a song with Treaty Oak. How did that come to be?
So I actually met them about 3 years ago in the last couple days down in New Braunfels, Texas at a show. And we just kind of hung out all night, had a great time, got each other's numbers, kind of stayed in contact. And I was like, man, what if I asked them if they'd hop on Throwaway
Yeah.
and I'll just let Sam write a third verse. And so he was like, sure, man, whatever, sounds good. And I hit him up about it like 6 months later. And he was like, man, I don't have a clue what you're talking about, but I'll write a verse and let's go to the studio next week and
That's
finish it.
sick.
And no, he was super cool about the
That's
whole thing.
funny.
It was
Yeah.
it was super cool to get to work with them.
Yeah.
Sam's a great dude.
Yeah, and Co, of course, has done what Co's done, but
Right.
Treaty Oak is really popping in the scene right now.
Yeah.
Not just in the Texas Oklahoma scene, but all around the country.
Yeah, I haven't seen shows like Treaty Oaks putting on
Yeah.
since that 2018 Co.
Yeah, it's crazy. We got to see them at a Bulls Bands and Barrels. And
Oh yeah,
it was them and Wyatt Flores.
that's a
And it
good
was
combo.
It was
right
a great
there.
combo, and Wyatt's little rockin' too. But
Right.
man, Treaty Oak set. That was my first time seeing them, and I was like, oh man.
Oh yeah,
You
they
know?
bring it for sure.
They do.
And they just sound great live.
Yeah.
Exactly like the record.
Yeah, that's one of the cool parts too. Is that you get to see them and you're like, oh man, this sounds even bigger almost
Yeah.
than the record. Well, because it's in big speakers, but but yeah, it was cool. We were like, Matt told me he's like they're really good, but it was my first time seeing them and I was like,
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Mhm.
And then it met the expectations, which is great.
Yeah, always.
Who are some of the guys that stage wise that you kind of look at to kind of help develop your thing, be it in your genre, be it people from
Yeah.
Long time ago.
A lot of the 90s guys.
Yeah.
Just because they were just moving around and jumping around so much.
Yep.
And then, of course, Co. I've seen
Yeah.
a ton of Co shows.
Yep.
And really all the Texas guys because, they're all up there with an acoustic guitar, but they're still moving and getting into it because
Oh,
it
yeah.
is a rock show.
Yeah.
And the only thing country about it is the acoustic guitar and the boots and jeans.
Yeah.
But no, all the Texas guys just spending time going to those shows, and that was another way I learned how to talk to the crowd and stuff, and it was really just ripping off things that those guys are saying. And
Well, that's how it works.
That's
You
how
pay
everyone does
attention.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, that's it. I always tell people that are in Nashville, I'm like, go watch John Langston play a show.
Yeah.
Watch what he does on stage because the crowd goes crazy.
Yeah.
And they're super engaged. I was like, and then take pieces of that and put it in your stuff.
right.
I mean, that's how everyone works. I mean, guitar playing, everything.
Right, you got to emulate and then innovate.
Yep.
Yeah.
Figure out what
I like
works
that.
for you.
Yeah, well, I stole that from Miles Davis. So I remember like I learned my first like guitar solo, and then whenever there was a guitar solo in a song, I just played that one solo for every song. Didn't matter what tempo or what key it was. I only knew one solo. I'm like, well, there's a solo in this song. I'll just use this one because I only knew one. But then eventually it's like you kind of learn, well, now I know two, and I could combine them. Then you learn 100, then it's like you can create your own thing, you know. Same with like tricks on stage or talking points and stuff like that, you know, and then you have your own voice, I think, with the crowd or with your writing or anything like that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I'm finally starting to get down the things I say at the same time every night.
Yeah.
Little stump speech, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't think about it too much because then I'll start forgetting the words of the songs.
Makes sense.
I love forgetting the words to throw away.
Yeah.
Everyone loves that.
Yeah, you just put the mic out, you sing it, but it's like the second verse, and they're like,
They're like, we don't know.
Exactly.
man, I played this songwriters round recently. It was at the Ryman. It was like a private show for like these rich people, and Brett James was singing "Jesus Take the Wheel," this Carrie Underwood cut that he wrote, and he was like, "All right, you guys sing this last one." He was like, "Jesus," and he puts the mic out to the crowd, and they're like, "Take the wheel," and then they didn't know any of the other words to the whole thing, and it was just dead quiet. It was super awkward. He's like, "Okay, I'll sing it then."
It's funny. You'll see that sometimes. Like people will, and that's you live and you learn. You know.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that the last 10 shows that he did that at, it worked 100%.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Definitely.
But for that show,
It was like a corporate gig.
yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah, that's a different thing. You know, that's not the fans of that specific songwriter or artist. You know.
Right, exactly. Also, like Bon Jovi does that a lot too, where it's like, when it's like, "I'm halfway there," and have the crowd sing the hard part, you know, it's like those notes are, you can't hit those anymore when you're
yeah.
his age. You know,
That's
let the
tough.
crowd take it.
Well, you don't have to worry about that. You're still good and young.
Yeah, what
Right.
do you like? You
Right.
said you were 20?
Yep, 20.
Man, that's nuts.
Dang, that's cool, man.
It
I couldn't
is.
imagine like touring when I was 20.
I know. I was such an idiot when I was 20.
Dude, I was such a dumb head.
God bless you.
I know. I'm not saying you're not an idiot. I'm sure you do some dumb stuff, but probably not as much as I do. You know, you
No.
probably have your head on a little tighter than I did when I was 20.
Yeah.
And it's nice having the guys that I do in my group. They're all older.
Yeah.
I think like the next youngest one's like 27.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
perfect.
so,
So
yeah.
they got it.
Yeah. Just a bunch of dudes raising me on the
Yeah.
road. So
Yeah.
I'm sure
Taking
my
you
parents loved that.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, like Kurt's played a couple times with like Bailey Zimmerman, and that's not that different from Bailey. You know, like he has some guys that are his age now, but when he first started, most of the dudes were a little bit older.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
yeah.
just how
It's
it works, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You find the guys that have the reps so they can tell you what not to mess up.
Right.
you know?
Yeah. Right.
Sometimes you might still mess it up, but they'll tell you not to. you
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
It's
And it's
awesome.
cool. They let me learn.
Yeah,
they let
of
me
course.
mess up.
Yeah.
But
Well, I always like, it's funny. I remember my brother like teaching me things when I was younger. He's like 13 years older than me.
Yeah.
So, and he'd be like, "Hey, I'm going to tell you this. Doesn't mean you have to listen to me. You can go bang your head against the wall. But if 1 out of 10 times you do listen to me, then you'll have one less time you have to bang your
Yeah.
head against the wall." I
Yeah.
run into that a lot now where I'm like telling people stuff and I'm like kind of the older brother, even though I'm not like really. The older brother.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're like the sage wizard of Nashville now.
No, I'm not. Yeah. I'm like the degenerate uncle.
The funkle, fun
Yeah.
uncle.
That's not a bad thing to be, though.
No, man, it's actually a fun job, you know?
Yeah.
I always talk to, I haven't really been drinking super much. I've tried some Surfside, though. These are good. But the kids all like, I say the kids, like a lot of the artists are like, "Come on, drink a couple beers with me."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "I'll be back. Don't worry."
Yeah, I got to take some time off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Well, how about writing, man? So, like, is most of the stuff you write just you, or have you been co-writing a lot?
I've been kind of starting to get into the co-write deal
Yeah.
like the last year, but most of the stuff that's out now has been just me.
Yeah.
But a lot of the new stuff that we have coming out is me and our producer and lead player
Sick.
Nathan.
Yeah.
And even Wes, who's my photographer / best friend / roommate.
Yeah.
I write with him and
Cool.
Caleb, my rhythm player too. We all wrote one together last week.
That's awesome.
That's actually gonna make the cut for the album.
Sick.
Yeah, we're putting it out like
Congrats,
into
boys.
May.
Yeah.
We're putting it out like into May, and
The
I'm
full
still
record?
scrambling
To get it ready.
to get songs
Yeah.
in. So
That's crazy. So you guys just put the last 3 singles kind of like as an EP, right?
yes, we did.
Is that the same title as the record?
No, it's
Okay.
not. So I still don't know what we're gonna call the record.
Cool.
Yeah, I also didn't know those 3 songs were coming out like that.
Yeah.
I called my buddy that works up at the label, and I was like, "Hey, what is this? Triple-sided single?
Yeah.
Never heard of one of those before." But I
Honestly, it's kind of good because then they can package it together. And when someone listens to it, they can listen to the whole thing.
right, and it's pushing streams of those
Yeah.
2 songs that it's on there with
Yeah,
too.
absolutely. Honestly, that's the business side of things, which
Yeah.
it's good to have people that do that for you.
Right,
So
exactly.
you don't have to like wonder or like look everything up on YouTube.
Yeah, or take the 5 years that it takes to learn that kind of
Yes.
stuff.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
cool to have a team that knows what's going on. 'Cause I
Absolutely.
don't. I don't
Yeah.
have a clue what's going on.
No, man, and that's common.
Yeah.
That's not uncommon unless you had a reason to like look through all of that. Like I remember we talked to one of our buddies, Colby, and he's like, "Yeah, I basically taught myself a music business course for a year by like looking stuff up on YouTube and stuff like that."
Yeah.
But, not everybody has the time or the want to do that. So
Right.
it's good to have, good people in your corner that know what works or have had reps where they're like, "Hey, when we do this, it helps push these streams more."
Right.
Or, "Hey, like when we drop songs, here's how long we should put them in between each song."
Yeah.
Like if you're just doing singles.
Mhm.
So you got a record. Do you have like any idea about how many songs is going to be on it?
I think it's gonna be 12,
Cool.
and that'll
Classic.
be with some of the
Yeah.
ones that
have out
we've
already.
already put out.
Yeah.
Just because I think those songs kind of deserve a home.
Yeah.
We talked about just doing 12 brand new ones, but
Yeah.
I want those songs, like the song with Treaty Oak.
Yeah.
I want that to be on an album,
Yeah.
And
Well, when you look back in 10 years, it'll be cool to have that as like a statement of that
Right.
time in your life.
and the people that haven't heard our music yet that are gonna find us from the record, they don't have a clue
Right.
that those songs came out before.
Yep.
So
Sometimes too, it's crazy. Like you'll get playlisting with DSPs. You'll
Right.
get a song that has already been out that'll get playlisted when you put a record out.
yeah,
So it could have that opportunity too, where it's like a song that's already been out might be one of the ones that like gets a push.
right.
Depending on
Whenever
what it
we
does.
put out the version of Throwaway with Treaty,
Yeah.
something happened in the algorithm and it picked up the acoustic one,
Okay.
and it was pushing the acoustic one like way harder on the playlist and stuff than it was the one with Treaty.
Yeah.
So I think the acoustic version did like 12,000 streams a day on
Crazy.
Spotify for like a couple weeks, and then the
other
new one
kicked
picked
in.
up.
Yeah. With the acoustic one, did you see like any information about like what playlists were picking it up? Because sometimes there are like acoustic playlists or like other things where that's why it will get picked up because like it'll hit
Yeah.
a different kind of playlist.
Most of it was like the Spotify radio.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even that. That's crazy.
Also, like, was the acoustic version the same as the other version, just with stuff pulled out of it, or is it completely different recording?
It was completely different.
I think a lot of people are starting to get into that acoustic vibe. They like all that stuff,
Yeah, they do.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I like that stuff too.
it's cool. It's a different vibe.
As heavy as our music is, we still I'm putting an acoustic one on this
Sick.
record, just straight up
Yeah.
acoustic.
Well, and if you're doing rock music, there's a lot of really cool rock music that has been done acoustically
Right.
through time.
Like
So-
all the
Stained.
MTV Unplugged.
Yes. Yeah. Honestly, like probably my most listened to record of all time is like Nirvana Unplugged.
Yeah.
And it was, I had it on CD and it was just, I listened to it nonstop.
Yeah, it's
It's
great.
incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. it's
All
one of
those MTV
favorites.
Unplugged are
So
great.
good.
Pearl Jam has a great
Yeah.
one.
Yes. Yeah.
Apparently, some of them were like really bad and never got released, which I would love to
I
see
would
a
love to
documentary
see
on that.
those.
I would too. I remember someone sent me like a board mix of like a George Jones show that
Oh,
was
God.
just
Rough.
like he was just hammered.
She was.
But like they're like, do not share this with anyone.
Yeah.
There's definitely a lot of those like Dropbox links float around Nashville,
Yeah.
like weird recordings of live shows and
Yeah,
like
yeah,
people being too drunk and just Hank Jr. being like, "I'm an icon," blah, or whatever,
Yeah.
like, just random stuff like that.
I mean, here's the thing. Everybody has bad shows. Right.
Right.
But when you're on that scale, like only the people in the crowd really got to experience that bad
Yep.
show. But if you got a board pull of it, that's why you can't have it get
Yeah.
to too many people.
And now, these days, everybody knows about it.
Yeah.
George Jones could get away with a bad show or
TikTok
two.
wasn't around.
Oh yeah. He would get panned every week, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, and that's the thing too. Like he was legit not showing up to shows. you
Yeah.
know? He would be there and not go on stage, or he just wouldn't show up.
Yeah.
And only people in that town would get pissed. You know.
Yeah, and that
No
was
one
it.
else
That was
knew.
the end of it.
Yeah.
There was a story of him not walking on stage,
Yeah,
you know. But
yeah, that was it. They were like, yeah, sometimes he doesn't show up. That's what people would hear.
Yeah.
You know? So they'd be like, I hope he does tonight.
Brutal.
Yeah, it's interesting. Definitely different times. You-
Yeah, we saw Guns N' Roses in Vegas. I was like 12, I think.
Dang.
And yeah, 4 hours late coming
Yeah.
out on stage.
I've,
So
I've heard
crazy.
that. They come out at like 1 a.m.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, I'm ready to go to bed, not rock.
So
And that
crazy.
was pre/Slash coming back. So it was
Oh,
just
dang.
at the Hard Rock in Vegas, like a
Yeah.
room almost.
That's crazy.
That was super cool.
Have you so you grew up on rock and roll, or you grew
Mhm.
up on country?
Yeah, my dad raised me on kind of like all the 90s grunge and
Yeah.
then all the 80s stuff too,
Nice.
Guns and Motley Crue, and
Yeah.
just kind of took me to concerts growing up and stuff.
Yeah.
And, but I mean, I remember being in the truck with my great grandma listening to Alan Jackson.
Yeah.
So I kind of got
That
hit with
too.
everything growing up.
Yeah. That's kind of like how my growing up was. Like, I was alive during grunge era, so
Yeah.
I was listening to that, but it was because I had brothers who were so much older.
Right.
They were filtering that to me, you know?
Yeah.
So my brother Steve was into like the really heavy stuff. He would listen to like Metallica, Megadeth, like Queensryche, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then my brother
Oh, yeah.
Chaz was like 2 years older than me, and he had like all the grunge records on CD because he would
Yeah.
get them from Columbia House and BMG and crap like that. Like 9 records for a penny.
Yeah,
each,
right,
you know? So like those were the records that we had, and then my dad would listen to country music. So whatever was on 90s country radio, I had in my ears because he
Yeah.
was listening to it. And then his record collection was like Eagles, Waylon, George Jones, Conway Twitty.
Yeah.
So like I had all of that from my dad. The heaviest rock he got was like the Eagles.
Yeah.
You know? But my brothers were not like that. And then so I just had a mix of all of that, and that's kind of then I honestly like fell in love with country music in like 2012.
Right.
Like, I liked it, but like once I realized the lifestyle, the parties, the tailgates, and that it's just great music to have on, you know, that's
Right.
like kind of when I fell into that. So it's great for me being a guy that loves rock music and country to see like the scene that you guys are helping build and helping keep alive like really flourish.
Right. Man, I think rock's coming back.
is.
Especially
sure.
in Texas. I don't know
Yeah.
about kind of,
Well,
but I
guys
mean,
are
you
at the
see guys like
forefront.
Austin Snell
Yeah,
coming out of
absolutely.
Nashville. I mean,
Yep.
that's rock music.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
It definitely is. And rock radio is coming back a little bit, and that
Mhm.
tells you because radio is like, you know, not the best format anymore. It's tough. but
Right.
If you're seeing rock radio come back,
Yeah.
like it's really starting to work, which is cool.
And like they're playing us on the country stations in Texas,
Yeah,
and it's like,
absolutely.
I mean, I guess it belongs, you
yeah.
know?
Well,
I'll
man,
take it.
yeah, never
Yeah.
get mad if they're playing you. Let them play you on pop radio if they want, man. You
Exactly.
know?
And it's funny, the first time they played it, they have like an app, and so I was on there reading the comments, and everybody's like, sounds like Blink 182, and I'm like, that's a stretch.
Yeah.
But
That's because they don't know too much.
Don't
rock
spend too
music.
much time reading comments.
yeah,
Yeah.
I have learned that.
Yeah,
I've
it's
learned
tough,
that.
man.
Yeah, don't take people's criticism if you wouldn't take their advice. You know,
Yeah, I like
That's a
that.
great way to say it, Kurt.
It's great.
I meant
Yeah. But that's 100% true because if you get big, there's going to be haters.
Right.
It's just how it works.
Yep.
So the bigger you get, the more there are.
Yep.
And you'll see 20 positive comments, and those don't really affect your psyche, but that one
That
bad
one
does.
always does.
Always does. And it's usually someone who doesn't have a profile picture.
Right.
You know?
Yep.
And they're just on there messing with people.
yeah,
Yeah.
anonymously.
Yeah, I never have any mutual followers with these
No,
people.
of course
ever.
not. Yeah, it's just the trolls, you
Yeah.
know. But there's that in every world. Just at a live show, you don't hear them. You know?
Right, yeah.
They're in the back.
Yeah, they're not going to come tell me that they didn't like my
exactly.
songs.
Yeah, exactly. So, you guys are out on the road. Are you guys selling decent merch too at the opening slot, or like,
Yeah.
what do you guys having out?
And that's a new thing too.
That's awesome.
Kind of just with this year turn 2024, we've started selling a lot of stuff, and I'm like, shit, probably need to order some stuff now
Yes.
and we haven't had hats all year,
Oh,
and so
yeah, you
finally
gotta
I've
fix
got
that.
hats coming in 2
Yeah,
weeks
that's
and
great.
a bunch of shirts and stuff. But
Yeah.
Yeah, our first big night in merch was with Gavin Adcock out in
nice.
West Texas in San Angelo. And yeah, that man is wild.
He is.
It's genuine too.
It's crazy.
I mean, you got to respect it.
Yeah.
His shows they're just fun, man.
They're electric. The crowd's nuts. We were down in Statesboro at Blue Room.
Oh, I heard about that show. They were
was
still talking about it when we played with them.
It was wild. There was like 6 fights before the show started.
God.
But it wasn't even like that. It was like the energy.
Yeah.
You just felt the room.
Yeah.
You know, like
There's a buzz for sure.
so much buzz. Yeah, it's crazy. We saw him here in Nashville too.
Yeah.
And he's played an event for us in Nashville before, but like before like all of this really started happening. But when he played in Nashville, I always say like a Nashville crowd is not the same as a crowd on the road.
Right.
Because especially if there's like suits and stuff there, they're kind of hanging in the back, and you know, maybe someone bought up a bunch of the tickets and they're all hanging in the back.
Yeah.
Gavin's show was not like that. Gavin's show was all the people that were there. They bought the tickets early. They were there.
Yep.
They were up front. It was cool.
Yeah, he's got a cool fan base,
Yeah,
man. They
yeah.
just are obsessed with it.
Yeah.
And that's so cool to see because
Yeah.
it kind of almost came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he's been grinding, putting out music, but I mean, when it happened for him, it
quick.
happened.
Yeah, it's crazy too. It's funny. Like some of our Nashville buddies are like, I don't know about these songs, and I'm like, that's because you've been in Nashville too long.
Yeah,
Sometimes,
yeah.
You know, and that's the grunge rock thing, man. Like there's
Right.
a lot of people when the '90s music, the grunge was coming out, that said this isn't good or we don't like this. This is
Right.
Kurt Cobain can't play guitar. You
Yeah.
know? You heard that a lot, but he played guitar good enough to make millions of people love him. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, and now he's on the Rolling Stone list.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Yeah, because he
funny
was
how that
creative.
works.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's how it works, man. There's no right or wrong way to do it. If you're doing it your way, especially if fans are digging it, keep freaking doing it your way. You know. So it's great to see that. Have you written it all in Nashville or mostly just with your guys?
I have. We came up here once a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Actually, it was whenever we played last
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
Yeah, we came up here and wrote with a kid named Lacade.
Oh,
if y'all
yeah.
have heard of him.
Yeah.
I
My
love
buddy
that
Max
cat.
King's out with Lacade.
Okay, nice.
On the road.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get to go to a festival with them. It's funny because Max helped us at a festival just like sell merch. He's a writer artist in town.
Yeah.
And now he's out on the road with Lacade at that same festival.
Yeah.
So he's gonna get to like be performing at the festival.
That's
now, which
funny.
is cool.
That's cool though. That's
Little
awesome.
blow up.
Yeah, Lacade actually played, I think maybe his first live performance gig with us.
No shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Nice.
And if not, it was like his second or third.
yeah, yeah, I know he hasn't played very many.
Yeah.
Um,
So it was like just an acoustic writers round thing, and I don't even know if he loved it. You know, like when he did it, you know, it was just fresh. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But
No, it definitely takes a minute to get used to.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I did not like my first couple shows
Yeah.
at all.
it's hard, man.
It is.
Getting in front of people sounds cool until you're in front of people, and then it hits
You're
you,
like,
and you're like, whoa.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I got to do this now.
Yeah.
Better sound good.
Yeah. It's
But
crazy.
It gets easier.
Yeah.
yeah, I've started to finally kind of be able to relax and be excited about
Yeah.
the big shows rather than just nervous.
Yeah.
But our first like big one was in Lubbock with Dexter and the Moon Rocks,
So great.
and they put like 800 people in there, and I was just like, holy shit. I don't remember any of the show.
Yeah.
I don't remember any of it at all.
Just blacked out.
Yeah.
Dude,
how it
that
works.
happened to me the first time I played the Opry. I went off stage. I'm like, I wonder if I sounded good. Like I don't remember playing like at all.
So crazy. Of course, I'm not a musician, but we help with a festival in Ohio, and Muscadine Bloodline was the headliner of the night that we were at.
Okay.
It was like the camper party, so it was like the night before the festival.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Hey, like this radio guy doesn't know who we are. Will you come intro us?" And I did, and I went out on stage, and I think it was about 7,000 people, and they turned the crowd lights on, and I just was like,
Yeah.
I said all of the words that I wanted to say, just not in the order that I wanted to say them. They still
Yeah.
made sense, you know, but it was
Yeah.
like in my head, I had this like thing kind of written out, and I didn't say it like that.
Yeah.
It was cool. Dude, that adrenaline rush. I had not had an adrenaline rush like that. So I can imagine that's what you guys get when you're on stage. you
Yeah.
know?
Usually about halfway through the first song, I'm good.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that night in Lubbock, I was like
Crazy.
6 songs in, like, come on, man, loosen up a little bit, have some fun.
How long is your guys' usual set? Like, because
We're playing a lot of 45s right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
But we're also doing a lot of like co-headline shows with Cole Barnhill.
Yeah.
And those are like hour,
Yeah,
maybe a little more than that.
that's sick. Do you play some covers when you do that?
Yeah, we play a couple. Right now, there's this band called Super Heaven.
Yeah.
They're just like
Familiar.
a grunge band that was 20 years too late.
Too late. Yep.
And but they're great. We're
Yeah.
playing a song of theirs right
sick.
now. I've been bored. And
Yeah.
My Hero by the Foo Fighters.
Cool.
And sometimes we'll play Shadow People by Co.
Oh,
if
cool.
we've blown through our set and,
Yeah.
and need an extra
You're
song.
like, let's get that one in there.
Yeah.
That's cool. I always like to hear if you are doing covers, like what you're covering.
Yeah.
You know? That's a neat thing for me. It's funny. We just saw Zach Top. I don't know if you're familiar with
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
But I got to see his live show, and he played a lot of covers, and it was like almost like a 90s and 2000s country music jukebox.
That's cool.
But Zach can sing. and
Yeah, he
everything.
can. He's
So a
a
lot of the
beast.
songs, I'm like, this is even a better vocal than the
Right.
artist had.
No, I love
So it's
playing
cool.
covers.
Yeah.
I think it's so much fun, and people love it too.
Yeah, it
'Cause
gets
they-
the crowd back or gets them like up. you
They're
know?
still gonna get the same amount of songs that they wanted to hear
Yeah.
from us, plus a
Yes.
couple cool ones.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's funny too because the longer you get into your career, the less of those you'll get to do.
I know.
You know?
I know.
So kind of enjoy the ones you get to do while you're
Right.
doing it. It seems funny to say that, you know, you're not playing as much original music, but that's like your tribute to the bands and the songs that you love.
Right? Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. We wouldn't be here without those guys. So.
Yeah. Wouldn't be the same artist without it.
Right. 100%.
So what is like when did you start like really knowing that you wanted to do music full time?
Kind of whenever COVID happened.
Yeah.
I was living out in Florida, actually playing tennis,
really?
going to IMG Academy,
Yeah.
and
Sick.
COVID happened, and I'd kind of been looking for a reason to just be done with tennis and quit. And
Yeah.
move on a little bit.
Yeah.
And
How old were you then?
I think I was 16.
Yep.
Yeah, I was 16. And I moved home or back to the ranch in Oklahoma,
Mm-hmm.
and we stayed out there for like 6 months. But the whole time we were out there, I was taking guitar lessons from Parker McCollum's brother, Tyler,
Dang.
who's a great songwriter. If y'all haven't heard of him,
No, that's awesome.
he's really good. He actually wrote a couple off Parker's first album, and
That's cool.
but
Whoa.
do what?
I was just saying, whoa, I didn't know that.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Tyler's great.
Tyler
and
McCollum.
yeah, I started taking lessons from him, and the only thing I could do out there was meet people on Instagram.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. I just, DM'd and annoyed people, until I became friends with a bunch of them, and
Yeah.
that was the biggest part of, kind of why things have been happening for us as fast, because I met
Yeah.
so many people before I even started trying to do it.
That's
Me and
crazy.
Wes, he was living in Arkansas at the time.
Yeah.
We just meet up at shows every weekend somewhere just to be in front of people and hang out, and
Yeah.
that helped a ton.
Yeah.
That's kind of the best advice I would give, is just be around,
Yeah. Get to see what it looks like to do it.
right? See the pros do
Yeah.
it,
And honestly, that was probably a timing wise a cheat code because you could get those people that were normally touring 5 days a week or 4 days a week weren't.
Right.
Even if they were touring, it wasn't as much.
Yeah.
So you kind of got opportunity to probably get a little bit more of their ear.
Mhm.
than you
And that
would
was a
have
cool
otherwise.
time too, because when shows were happening, everybody was so excited to be
Mhm.
there. Nobody
Yeah.
was tired and dragging. It was
Yeah.
like, damn, we finally get to play again this weekend.
Super cool. Yeah.
So that was a cheat code for me.
What are some like bucket list venues you have throughout the Texas scene? That you haven't
Number
got to play
one,
yet?
Billy Bob's.
Billy Bob's.
Billy Bob's. We checked John T. Floor's country store off a couple weeks ago with Cody
Yeah.
West. I think that was probably number 2 for me. But Billy Bob's is up there.
What's the capacity, Billy Bob's? 5,000?
It's like 5,000, 5,500,
Crazy.
something.
I haven't been.
You
Me
never been to
neither.
Billy Bob's?
I've
Oh,
never
you'd love
been.
it, dude.
Yeah. I want to go.
Have you not even been in?
I've never been.
Yeah.
I don't know how. All my friends have been so many times, and I always miss it
I
somehow.
always miss it. Crazy. Well,
It's
maybe
fun,
when
man.
you play your first one, I'll come down.
Yeah, let's do it. That can be both of our first times.
that'd
I'll
be
hold out for
great.
that.
Yeah. Well, if someone asks you to open, you should probably do it too.
Right, yeah.
But it's cool to hear a little bit more of your story. I mean, I'm a fan of the music, man. I think it's super cool.
I appreciate it, man.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And honestly, like I said, first time I saw you guys play, I was like, damn, you guys are tight. Like the band is tight.
Yeah.
It looked like you guys have been playing together for years.
Yeah, we've had enough band practices. We better be tight.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Super cool. Well, anything else you guys have coming up that you want to talk about? So you got the new album that you're hoping to drop.
Yeah,
sounds like.
yeah. Before that, I don't think we've set a date for it yet, but sometime in the next couple weeks, there's a kid from Texas. His name's Mac Hankins.
Okay.
He's brand new.
Yeah.
But he's great. He's really, really good. Kind of reminds me of like Gio and Dylan and kind of those guys. He's great, but we got a song coming out with him.
Oh, sick.
Here in a couple weeks. Yeah, we went out to East Texas and
cut that.
yeah, I cut a verse for him and we
Nice.
wrote it out there. It was super cool.
That's
I love
awesome.
East Texas. If y'all haven't been out there,
I haven't either.
it is different.
Kurt's been a little bit everywhere, but
Yeah, I mean, I've been for sure. It's great. Yeah,
It's
even like
great.
I had some friends that were like in Shreveport, and so like we kind of live in that part
Yeah.
of the world. Shreveport, not my favorite, but it's fine. it's okay. I played there at that casino a few times, but
And what about like how did you get together with your management, like Yellow Rose?
So I'm actually just doing booking with them,
Cool,
right
cool.
now. Yeah, we
Yeah.
don't even have a manager
Oh,
right
dang.
now. We're
That's
just kind of floating.
Yeah.
But no, I met Pat through Cole. Actually, I met him that night at Live Oak
Oh, nice.
with y'all,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we kind of just started talking, and we were talking to a couple other booking agencies,
Yeah.
and man, Pat just cares.
Yeah.
He
He's a
gives a
G.
fuck about me and Cole and
Yep.
all the people he's got on his roster, and
Yep.
and you know, it's fun. Me and Cole need to be playing shows together, you know?
Yeah.
So
Dude, your guys' music fits super well together.
It does.
It's not right on top of each other, but it's in the same family.
Right.
So that's super cool. I agree with that. I love it.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, sick. Anything else you want to shout out in terms of like socials or anything like that?
We did just drop a new live video on YouTube
Sick.
from our new song "Happy."
Yeah.
Yeah, we did it
Sick.
with Southbound Sessions in Fort Worth a couple weeks ago.
Awesome.
So we got a new live video, and got a whole bunch of music videos coming soon, along with the new album. So.
Nice. How
I'm
many are
excited.
you guys doing?
We did 2 videos. We were up here like 2 weeks ago,
Sick.
and we did. The weather was horrible. We did 2 videos in one day.
Dang.
It was a long one.
no, that's hard work, man.
Yeah, it is. And I didn't think it was going to be at all.
It never with video stuff. It's like we can do this. It'll just nope, and it's always a lot more work, and then a lot of sitting around and waiting.
Yep.
and it's tough, man.
Yeah, we
Kurt-
had like 4 different locations. Had to set up drums,
Yeah.
all our amps at every single
Yeah.
one of them.
How many music videos do you think you've been in, Kurt? Because you've been Laney's.
I don't know, a dozen or so, probably.
think
You
so.
know, no, probably more than that. I don't know, a bunch. Yeah.
Yeah. I was at one. I was in like just a cameo in like a Muscadine one.
Yeah.
And it is like you're there a lot, you know?
Yeah.
And that was just that part of it that I was in, you know?
I was so happy I didn't have to like act or
Yeah.
talk.
Yeah.
I just
yeah.
had to kind of sing the
do the
words.
thing.
But even then, that's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Well, yeah, because you're used to actually performing the songs. so
Right.
You're doing it like and kind of not.
Sitting on the edge of the bed with my hands perfectly placed.
Super weird. Who did you guys record those with?
Tristan Kusick.
Okay. Cool.
He is great.
Yeah.
He and he helped us out. Really cut us a deal on those videos and
Awesome.
and made it happen. And you know, I love stuff like that because
Yeah.
you know, take a chance on us whenever
Yeah.
we have the money.
Yep.
I'd love to give him, you know, enough for a big video.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep.
Man, that's how this town works, honestly.
Right.
And I'm sure Texas is the same way.
It
but
is. Yeah.
It's very much like, man, I believe in this thing. Let's go to war together.
Yep.
You know, and I love that. I mean, that's the mentality. Just like the guys you put in your band. You know, it's like if everybody believes in it and everybody pushes together, that's how it's gonna go.
Yep.
Right on, man. Well, thanks for coming in and thanks for hanging.
Yeah, I appreciate
Yeah.
y'all having me.
Dude, absolutely, and can't wait for freaking Wednesday too.
Yeah.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah,
man.
it's gonna be great.
Appreciate you coming back and playing for us again.
Always.
Well, sick man. I'm Nicky T,
I'm Kurt Ozan.
and we'll see you in the front
Front
row.
row.